you. I've got my AirPod on and I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
We're streaming live from Sacramento, and you're in the car. What are you
I
doing? Your Instagram posts and your kids and your wife, and it's just so great to see that. So, Duke, thank you so much for joining us. I know you and I have known each other for a very long time, but also you have just been such an incredible leader in the community for a lot of reasons that we're going to talk about, and that's why I'm just so glad that you said yes to this Instagram Live with us to showcase more to people about what you're doing on behalf of Care Closet and on behalf of the city of Long Beach. And so this Black History Month, we wanted to honor you and all of the, like I said, incredible work, but really the sacrifices that you've made, because I've seen you out there. You actually took me out to go meet some of our unhoused residents right off the 710 freeway. I remember going with you, and we met a woman along the freeway, and we said hello, and we were able to connect with her in a way that I don't think I'd ever imagined being a state senator. So I want to thank you for that. But
You're welcome.
Again, everyone, we're here celebrating our friend Duke Givens from Long Beach for Black History Month, but this is not just for Black History Month, this is for every month because he's done such an incredible job. I'll give you some information about where we're at in terms of homelessness. And actually, as we speak now, my staff is actually out at the Long Beach Point in Time Count and also in Walnut Park, working with both the Health Department in Long Beach and Los Angeles Homeless Services Association. But according to the Senate Housing Committee, in January 2020, California had about over 160,000 homeless individuals, which accounts for almost 28% of the nation's homeless population, the highest amount in the country. And the city of Long Beach conducted their point in time count back in 2020 because 2021 we weren't able to do that. And it accounted for over 2,000 people on our streets and along our highways experiencing homelessness. And due to the COVID-19 pandemic as well, we weren't able to get a really clear picture in 2021. So 2022 will be really interesting to see where the data lands for us, for the residents that are experiencing homelessness. And we encourage all of our residents to come out. If you have the opportunity to come out and see what it's like, we'd love you to do that. And we'll also learn more on behalf of Duke on how you can support, give, and also how you can learn more from him as well. But my office will also include a link. The City of Long Beach actually had a presentation addressing homelessness not too long ago. We'll ensure that we include that in the chat if you want to learn more. And the presentation basically provided that what the city is doing about homelessness through outreach efforts, work being done at our multi-service center. I actually know that I took a few residents to the multi-service center from all parts of Long Beach to be able to let them learn a little bit more about services that we have readily available. But on top of all that, we've got a stellar, incredible person, Duke Givens, who is doing some really, really great work. And I first want to ask you, Duke, I think I'm having audio issues, but you tell me can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you. You're fine.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Good. Okay, good. You tell me what Care Closet does. Why did you start Care Closet? You've got an incredible mission, and it says steadfast commitment to meeting the needs of our brothers and sisters in the unhoused community. We focus on servicing people where they are by attending to both immediate needs and helping. So tell us about that.
Long Beach is an amazing town. It's a small, big city, or about close to 500,000 individuals. I'm a product of Long Beach, so I'm a Long Beachian. So I care about this town. We have, you just said the numbers are about 2,000, a little over 2,000 that are unhoused right now. A few years back, I worked at Long Beach Transit, and I got a chance to learn the city in a very unique way by being a coach operator. Then I became a supervisor, and I got a chance to see the lay of the land of this town in a different type of way. It was more up close and personal. Instead of us just going to a job and then transitioning and driving on the highways and byways, I was literally out in the public sector where I got a chance to interact with a lot of unhoused individuals. And it was always kind of strange to me, being a little bit younger, not understanding what people are going through or what they're experiencing until I retired from the job. and I retired because I got injured. Years ago, I was injured in the military, but it kind of translated when I retired from my job and I hurt my back real bad. So now when I see people with injuries, I can relate instead of just empathize, like, oh, you're injured, or, certain people would even look at individuals like they're faking when they're going through situations. So when I had my back surgery and I was off my feet, I basically prayed and just said, Lord, just give me a chance to get back and help. And I had a dream. It's crazy to sound. I had a dream, and it just opened up a space where I was able to start creating a thought process to help the unhoused. And then COVID came about, and that changed our world as we know it. So what that did was put me in a position to link up with Blair Cohn at the Art Expo building. But before that, let me take you back. In the 8th district at the time is now the 5th district. Al Austin, City Councilman Al Austin, had me go with him to the railroad tracks, and I ran into a young man that recognized me, but I did not recognize him, and he recognized me from junior high school. He aged so much, and I'm like, bro, this can't be you. I'm like, what's? And he said, life happens to us, and then he explained to me his situation. And I went back the next day just to see if he was still there, and he was. And I asked him, did he have any needs for anything? And he said, yes. So I met those little simple needs. And then I said, man, it's real messy over here. Like, y'all clean up this spot over here, knock it off. And I took him some trash bags, and he started cleaning them up, and I gave him a gift card. And then he said, thank you. Like, this is going to help me. And that was one of the primary and principal steps that kind of opened the door to create that concept. Then I said, man, this would be cool to just, go into other little encampments and see if I can get them to get involved to, start cleaning up. And people started cleaning up in a way that I'm like, man, this works. So then I put out some drives to get sleeping bags and tents from Long Beach, and Senator Gonzalez, Long Beach, showed up and showed out. In 2 hours, they gave me like 600 sleeping bags. People were using their COVID relief money and giving it to me just to buy sleeping bags, just everything. So I said, wow, this is something that shows the care and compassion of this town. And this is, citywide. And then it jumps into our other districts and other cities, like Los Angeles is a big place. It's 88 cities that make up Los Angeles County. I think that's the correct.
It's almost, yes. It's quite 11 million people. I mean, it's a big county. So yes.
Think about it. There's only 4+ million people in the state of Oklahoma. So it's a lot of density here. So we need to put ourselves in a position to go out. And like I just precursored earlier, I was in the Air Force. So I was a civil engineer. I learned, like, we would go set up little small bases. So that kind of put in my mindset also, like, when I go into these places, I'm safe when I deal with, the unhoused population, because some of them are unstable. Some people, could even put themselves in a position to, I've been almost attacked a few times. That's no big deal in that regard, because, I can take care of myself, but you gauge the sensibility and the sensitivity of issues in all of these locations, because people are hurting. Like This morning and yesterday, was it cold up there where you guys are?
Oh yes, it was cold up here in Sacramento, and it's cold back home as well, as you know.
Yeah, so yesterday was 39 degrees. So one of the unhoused individuals texted me and said they not feeling well. And I'm like, can you go to the doctor? And they said they can't. And I'm like, so what can I do to assist in that capacity? So we got some Robitussin and something. I'm not a doctor, not like that, but they just know that I think it's common cold. Right. So we made sure that the need was met right then. But back to your question, Care Closet was birthed out of that, first experience. And from there, that's how we just keep pressing on and on.
And, it's important because Care Closet, as you said, you're meeting people where they're at. You're also creating an opportunity to give them both immediate needs, like you talked about, and also long-term goals and long-term needs, because you've also connected very closely with a lot of our departments as well.
Yes.
I mean, you're obviously very in close contact with the city of Long Beach, clearly, with my office, with the councilman's office, with the county. I know you've talked to all of us, and you've done this work really on your own, which has been incredible as a supplement and complement to all the good work being done for our unhoused residents. But you actually, just a little bit more about you. I mean, you grew up in the 6th district in Central Long Beach, as you mentioned. You went to the Air Force.
Yes.
You're now a product of Long Beach City College. You were a photographer for somebody that may have played for the halftime show, Last Name Dog. Yes,
Yeah,
you've
Snoop and I
received.
grew up. Yeah, Snoop and I
Yeah.
grew up together. We played Pop Warner sports, and we wind up graduating from high school. I'll actually share a little tidbit. Snoop was actually supposed to go on the buddy system with me to the Air Force, so I'm gonna let you have that one right there. Yeah, but the guy, he said, "Hey Duke, I'll be right back. I'm going to the car," and he left me in there to take the ASVAB by myself. So I wound up
And
joining
then
the military.
you ended up going.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
And you won numerous awards, the NAACP Community Service Award. You received recognition from United States Congress, African American Men's Forum President's Award, and most recently being inducted into the Long Beach City College Hall of Fame,
Oh,
which I
thank
think
you.
is so cool.
Thank you.
And now, like I said, you are tackling the issue of unhoused residents with your own family. You've got a wife and children that we love to see on Instagram, and you're doing this with heart and with a motivation to ensure that everyone in California thrives. But like you say, little by little, starting in Long
Yes.
Beach.
Yes.
And I know when we engaged, we started talking about, I had a bill at one moment to look at graffiti and trash along our state highways, and then knowing that we don't even have a plan before last year to address residents, Californians living on our state highways. And you were doing this work before I even had the bill, but then the bill really complemented that, and it really turned into what we now know as Clean California, the
Yes,
Clean
ma'am.
California Initiative, which you're doing now. And now you're being folded into this Clean California Initiative plan of the city of Long Beach, which is really great. So tell us a little bit more about this work that you're doing. Like specifically, you're picking up trash. How much trash have you picked up along our highways? What have you, you
little
picked up.
by little has turned into a whole lot. We're way over 500,000 pounds. And speaking about a lot of individuals that live on the riverbeds and on the freeways, we literally have an army of individuals out there that giving them a space and a chance to start pre-rehabilitation by having them just clean up their areas. That's huge. And when we started that, a little bit over a year and a half ago, that is something that was transformative in a way that I don't really or can think, or can you even think of anybody ever done that? So this is a unique opportunity for us to do something to this capacity, to get individuals something to do, and not an 8-hour day in volunteerism, because I'm not an employer, I'm a nonprofit, but just to give them something to do 2 or 3 hours a day, every day, and they show up on time. That right there is the first steps of pre-rehabilitation in anything. And giving credit to our multi-service center, yep. Paul Duncan, guy's actually amazing. Like I've sat with him a few times, and he's sat with me and he shared with me some amazing ideas. He said, Duke, you got to do things outside the box. You got to do it new. Got a chance. We worked hand in hand with the city prosecutor's office, where when we go out, we've had homeless court, where individuals have their records expunged. Just look at how Long Beach is putting, these things together in a way that's fresh, new, and unique, So
absolutely.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah. So being boots on the ground, like really out here, you get a chance to see some amazing, articulate, broken individuals like all of us. So with that, we just tie in all of our experiences, and we just working together to just show each other love. Like I've learned and received so much love from our unhoused community. Even when we got to show one another tough love. Certain people just, they stay for a little while and they may transition on, but they realize that this experience that they had, they know that whenever they need help, they have the avenues and the vehicles to go. Like the multi-service center, go get your ID, go get your things together, get housing, get it together. But certain people have certain struggles that, may be in this particular time that's hard for them to, whether it's drugs or brokenness, but we're all here to help what we can.
Absolutely. And I think you've been that conduit, to the glue that held, everything together when it's, it's hard to sort of go to the underpasses or go along our state highways and engage with folks. But you've done this, and you've done it so well, whether it's letting them know about the homeless services that are at multi-service center, or letting them know that they can go to the VA as a veteran, or letting them know there's domestic violence support. I mean, you've really done all of this work while also picking up almost 500,000 pounds of trash along our Long Beach state highways. And for that is
freeway in
huge.
a while? Have you seen?
I
Your
usually always go, and then I think about you and Care Closet and your whole team, and it looks amazing. And you've also personally painted graffiti, painted over graffiti to ensure that there is no graffiti on some of our walls along the state highways. So I want to thank you for that as well. And you have an incredible team that has been really dedicated to doing that. So tell us about your team. I mean, it's really just you, but you've got some interns that have helped here and there from, I think, Long Beach State.
It's amazing. We have a sister named Kim New. She's actually now became an EMT, but she wants to be a doctor. Nice. You have Morgan just came on board. You have Amy. You have Blair. You have, I have a board. Nikki Riviera, Dalia. You have Robin Gordon Peterson, Wayne Chaney Sr. I have a network of individuals that give me sound advice to go out into the community and put these things in place. And then it's actually not even me. Like, they're allowing me to be the conduit or the face, but it's actually our unhoused population, like Kathy and the Kevins and, the Nichelles and, Debbie's. And there's been a lot of them down there that have, fought and argued with me so much just for the sake of love. But the mission is something that's amazing. And for them to do that, to go in and during COVID, because everything was halted. So trash is never going to stop. And for them taking that concept and that mission statement little by little, and then to just clean up here and there. And then you had Matt Cullen from Dion and Sons teamed up with us last year. And then they had the resources with the big trucks to come help us just go throw all of it away. It's amazing how these things work out.
It is amazing. And you have, with your board, with your team, have been able to coalesce all of these partners in Long Beach, like I said, that probably would never have gotten together if it wasn't for your mission and what Care Closet stands for. So that is huge. And, kind of going on to the long-term solutions, because we talked about that. And I know the state of California has been working very diligently and on our budget right now. We have about $12 billion from last year that would be allocated over 2 years for homelessness, $8 billion specifically to combat homelessness, and $9 billion for housing resources. And so let's talk a little bit about that. I know we have Project Home Key, which is converting motels and hotels into permanent supportive housing. And we've been hearing, I believe we have 2 locations in Long Beach, and hoping to have even more locations, moving forward, because we've got to have housing as the long-term solution for folks to feel supported. So what are your thoughts on how else we can spend money, or what are your thoughts on how do you help, our unhoused residents also think about the long game and ensuring that they do get housing?
I actually love that question. And whoever came up with the concept of Project Room Key and Home Key was amazing. Literally, like, I actually can speak on the personal experience of a young man that I know that was at the facility, Project Room Key, by the VA hospital. And he loved the amenities. He loved that they were so compassionate and kind, and how the living situation works. He's not there anymore. So he was able to get his steps to get out of there. Home Key, I think, is a longer term goal that you guys have in place. But what I feel that should be done are tiny homes. I got a chance to see one in particular by, I think it's Harbor College off of the 110 freeway.
Right.
The 75 units. They are the little tiny, I think they're 65 square feet. Those things are actually amazing. They're durable. They keep people out of the elements. We've given away tents, and tents are okay for, like right now type of situation, but you need to get our individuals out of these elements.
Right.
It's cold. Like in certain states, you can't be homeless. You're going to die in the extreme cold. So a solution would be certain locations that are land space. You just line those tiny homes up, and those really work. They really do. And what I've learned about the unhoused community since I've been out here now, I can speak on it from experience, is you have, just like we have 9 council districts in Long Beach, you've got a few neighborhoods of communities that are unhoused, that this community over here needs to be together. This community over there needs to be together. So they are kind of I'm not going to use the word territorial, but they look out for one another in these little groups. So if you're on the 710 freeway, you have individuals that are near Anaheim and they stay there. You have people near PCH, Willow, and we've got a chance to learn them and know that, they all work and thrive together. So putting these little tiny homes in place, you should keep those same individuals together. You have a multi-service center that's amazing, but if you have a place where where a majority or the bulk of our unhoused population is located, now you can have your teams go out and service them, because now once you get the tiny homes, now you can't be in the flood controls. You don't need to be in there. So now that you know that there's a place, now you have a situation in place where whether it's me or whoever can say, hey, let's come physically take you to these locations that's safe, that's going to get you medical care, get you, health clinicians, all those things that they need.
And that's, the tiny homes has been an issue raised so many so many times year over year in all parts of the state of California, right? To ensure that, even if it's like a 300 or even 100 square feet, that someone can live there. In some cases, I think in Northern California, they have tiny home areas where there's somebody on site that will provide additional supportive services. And so they can be sort of the conduit like you are, right? To be able to say, okay, you're a veteran, or you're mental health, resources, you need that, or you have a child that's, a minor that we need to ensure that is in school and feels supported. And that, seems to fare very well. And we've seen that in even other countries. And I wonder how else we can continue to push that here in California to ensure that we really have more of a long-term view, but an investment that actually will work and return really positive benefits for our community.
What I think the public gets frustrated about is the time from an initial thought or a creative thought to the actual completion of the thought to get completed. So we're speaking about tiny homes now, but how long will it physically take to make something like this happen? But I would like to, I don't even like to use the word challenge, but let's start with a small little stage where we could do 10 of the unhoused that have volunteered for me, just say, for example, and see how they would be able to fare in these tiny homes in Long Beach, because we don't have one right now, and show that these individuals, let's reward the people who picked up all that trash,
right?
And then start that model here, take it over to Wilmington, take it to Compton. We did a cleanup for Compton. We did one actually in the city of Carson right before the Super Bowl. We went out right where the blimp is and the Porsche dealership. They had a long drag of graffiti. We just did that to say, we love you, Carson, and the unhoused went out there with me and we did it. So just rewarding individuals for, striving to get themselves back together is powerful. And I think that'll be a good start. But the big picture is, tiny home communities are the way to get to Project Room Key to Project Home Key. That's
Absolutely.
the person yes.
Absolutely. And there is room in the budget to be able to do that. In the state budget, the governor actually proposed dollars for tiny homes and for smaller sort of footprints. And I think there's a question, where would you place those tiny homes? Well, specifically in Long Beach, I know there's been talk about placing them near some of the port industrial area. There's a lot of different talk on where else they could be location wise in Long Beach, but there's a lot of options. Yes. And I think we just need to think creatively now about what housing will look like for our unhoused residents to ensure that we actually get them into a space that, feels like, they belong. Yes. And that's huge, which is really, really huge. Any other thoughts on, what you might find sort of in what else you can think of in terms of solutions? I know we've talked about Project Room Key and Project Home Key, both short-term and long-term housing solutions. I know you are, again, working with folks that have also mental health needs as well. And one bill that I'm going to be co-authoring is actually a bill looking at the very issue of mental health. And it's looking at calling 988 versus 911 for folks that are experiencing mental health situations. So we can sort of divert resources from our law enforcement to social workers and people that actually have experienced deep experience in dealing with people realizing mental health episodes or having a mental health situation. And, you know, this is something that we've often talked about again in the state. And I know that it always seems like we've got a lot of dollars out there, but not enough is being done. So I don't know if you have any other sort of thoughts in your head about mental health and what you're seeing out there and what might need to be sort of, you know, what more might need to be supported in that sense.
I got the answer for that.
Great.
Ready?
I knew you did. Great. Yeah. What is it?
We need to assist those that are unhoused to assist the unhoused as well. You got some people that are brilliant that just are hard on their luck. And by me being out here, Melanie is the name of the lady you came out to physically meet. And Melanie was so touched by you coming out that you gave her just she said that is a very powerful woman, you know, and just in saying that gave her the inclination to say, you know what, I can do better. So what wind up happening is the highway patrol says she can't stay on the freeway anymore. So I reached out to Kathy, and Kathy is unhoused. And she said, Duke, we will help you get her situated. So what we did was move her physically from that location, and they took her down to where Kathy is until we can find the tiny houses. So there are little communities of helping one another. So Melanie texted me and said, I needed a tent. When you gave me a small little donation, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You have gotten stoves and tents, and we take it to them. When they hit us with a text, we go take it right then. Anywhere we can find the need, we just meet the need. So those who are unhoused that have a skill set to help their community, and that is their community, we empower them to help, and then we give them the resources that they need to help their brothers and sisters, our countrymen and women.
And that's such a huge and impactful way of approaching it, because again, you have a very different approach that I don't think has often been done. It's, you know, either they're facing, like you said, Melanie, I met her and she had a master's degree.
Yes.
I think she told me she seemed very brilliant, incredible, and just found herself in this situation. And when you're talking about other unhoused individuals reaching out to unhoused individuals, it's a different perspective completely than someone reaching out to her, than me, than you, than even the CHP officer. That's sort of the approach that is often taken, is law enforcement, a service worker, a social service worker, maybe a health, outreach worker. It's oftentimes, I'm sure, done with compassion in some cases, but maybe some cases not. And I think oftentimes it's looked at as like, well, you've never been in my shoes, so how do you know? And what are you doing here? Although Melanie was very kind, I can understand maybe that perspective, and the approach of having another unhoused individual contact her, I think it goes a long way. And as you're saying, these pods and groups of unhoused individuals, I think we need to think about that as we're developing housing policies and solutions. You're exactly right. Great. And that's huge. So we talked about housing. We've talked about mental services and resources as well. And what are you seeing out there in terms of individuals with children and families? I know that we're seeing an uptick overall in Los Angeles, but I wonder what that looks like in Long Beach.
Interesting enough is that appears to be in other locations. I look at, and I hear what you're asking me about the children. I haven't ran into too many individuals that have a lot of children out here.
Great.
In Long Beach, around the riverbeds and things of that nature. I have seen that on Skid Row in Los Angeles.
Yes.
But that's, there are other organizations that deal with that. But us being here in Long Beach, I don't see that. So to speak on that, if there are, I know there are a lot of churches, there are a lot of organizations that, come out and help, and they get them the help when there's babies involved. One thing about this city, when children are involved, people really, step in, and that's not going to happen.
Right.
So.
Right. And that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I know, again, we're seeing that in other areas. And I always ask that question because we have seen that. And I know that especially a lot of women have now during this pandemic realized unemployment, realized losing their jobs. And a lot of women with children are in cars in some cases, or they might be in encampments. And it's been a real hard reality.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, that, if you're in an RV and you're in a car, you're still, you know, unhoused as well. I look at that at all, but I haven't ran into a lot of that.
Right. And I think the Hood Santa, our friend here, has also asked, I think formerly, about MacArthur Park in Central Long Beach. And MacArthur Park, I know last year, and we're going to get some updates for everyone, my office, we were able to secure about $14 million for
Awesome.
the upgrade of the park.
Yes.
And looking at, of course, ADA accessible and inclusive playgrounds. I know I talked to Dika McLean, a
Yes.
friend of ours who's experiencing, you know, who has a disability, but is incredible leadership. She's been incredible at ensuring that we're making investments that are inclusive always. And she's always, you know, holding me accountable to that, which is great. But with that, we across the street from that, there will be another $5 million investment, I believe, $1 million investment from the state that we also provided to the children's clinic.
Awesome.
It will include 100 units of all affordable housing, very low affordable housing, which will also have a wellness center adjacent to it that includes yoga and mental health resources with the children's clinic. And Dr. Elisa Nicholas is, of course, leading that effort. Yes. So we're hoping that there's going to be a big revamp in Central Long Beach with this beautiful new park and incredible supportive services across the street. But do you have any, I know that right now there's encampments and stuff going on.
Tracy Kalunga and the crew over there, and Sister Mary and a lot of those ladies, I took them on a tour as well. That's some girl power on steroids. Them
Yes.
women are skating for real. They're not playing. So yeah, that's really, really good what's going on at MacArthur Park. We'll be assisting, helping them with cleanups once a month. They just said, come over and, you know, volunteer and help out. And, you know, like I said, I'm boots on the ground. So as I get a chance to meet our unhoused, I just see if, you know, we can engage and establish relationships, so I can point you to a multi-service center. I can point you to, you know, advocates that will help you in areas in your life where, you know, you want change. The brass tacks reality of certain people just want to be left alone, but we just got to, you know, love on our family, you know, and we all
absolutely.
And, you know, even if, you know, certain people don't want to participate, you know, just catch them back at a later time when you can. But, you know, the mission has to just keep going forward till we get these tiny homes. Once the tiny homes come into place, then you can, and you literally have to remove people out of the flood controls and areas. And it's like you could then assess and make the situation better for individuals. Just give them the help that they need. Because there's a lot of people that are mentally ill that are in those locations that are just meandering around, as just floating. And we got to go grab them and get them the help, whether they need medication, whatever the case may be. We need to get our people, you know, the help they need.
Absolutely. And that's why, you know, the mental health resources, I think ramping those up and approaching it differently. I think letting our neighbors know that sometimes it's not always best to call 911, unless, of course, we see something illegal happening, of course. But it's a different approach to have and hopefully have more resources, like I said, through this 988 service that can then support mental health episodes and folks experiencing mental health illness.
Out there to you, too, which is a health concern that needs to be done. I know at MacArthur Park, the ladies were sharing with me, they need showers like yesterday. So I know that that's something that you guys should really that should be item number one. Get the showers going. And there's another location on the 710 and Willow, the 710 freeway at Willow. There's a little building that's just sitting vacant. That could be a shower location that we could even help out with. Well, if we get all of our individuals, then you have the unhoused help with, you know, the city to work to get everybody the showers. They got to get these people clean, because I know women bodies are different than men. And there's things that they require that they need to have done. You got to stay clean. You know, your pH balance. You know, my wife always talks about her pH balance.
Right.
We got to keep our sisters out there. You know, let's help our people by getting them. You know,
absolutely. Out. Yes, I mean, there's women, just female hygiene and ensuring that they are, you know, having an opportunity to feel clean and also feel supported in that sense. This is why the creativity in you and what Care Closet does, I think, speaks volumes, because it's thinking outside the box, and it's doing, again, both the immediate concerns that people need with also paired with the long-term solutions, which I think is huge. Now tell me, Duke, what would you suggest we message to residents? Because this is obviously an issue that many residents might see, of course, right? Just they see homeless encampments, the state's not doing anything, the city's not doing anything. You know, nobody's supporting these individuals. Nobody's doing anything about it. And we know, again, that there's a 16% increase in unhoused individuals in LA County overall. We know, again, 2,000 residents in Long Beach are unhoused. And that's the 2020 numbers. We don't know, again, what 2022 looks like, because 21, we didn't do a point in time count. So I expect, I mean, just thinking that it might go up. We've seen a lot more people unhoused. But what do you say to the folks that are like, just get them off the street? We don't want to do anything. And this is something I constantly grapple with as a state senator, in educating folks on what services are available, but what they can do to offer, more solutions, rather than just saying they don't want to see the issue.
I can speak personally for myself in that, and just say with me, what I did was, because of certain things that were unctioned to lead me to this, I got involved to go help. But that's not everybody's calling either. And I understand, because some of these folks, let me just share with you a friend of mine, I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem with this. Somebody broke into their backyard that was unhoused off of the 105 freeway. So you do have crime. They're stealing, they're doing all, it's the truth.
Right.
And what they did, well, I'm not telling their business, but they basically made sure that person never came back. And that's, whether it's right or wrong, it was something that happened that, it was an altercation that ensued. So that's the safety component,
right,
of the issue. But for me, I'm like, let's just start in a fresh approach where we do, 10 to 20 area.
Oops.
Am I losing you?
Let's see. I think Duke may have, oh, there you are. You're back.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I hope that makes sense. I never advocate violence towards anyone. I don't believe that. But
no,
I do believe that we are still in a place in a nation that people, everybody, especially, you have residents, people just want to go home after work and after they spend time with their family, and they just want to be safe. And there is an element of individuals that are unhoused that I've been out here and I got a chance to see that's unsafe. It's the truth. But then you have an element of individuals, like a lady particularly that I know, she was in a car accident. Life happened. She tried to sue. Time went by. She lost everything. She's unhoused. So there's the balance. And you have individuals that were in the foster care system. They, get emancipated. They don't have family. They're unhoused. You got individuals that, there's a gentleman out there in Long Beach on the 710 freeway. He's a pyromaniac. The police, everybody knows who he is. But he's still one of our individuals. Like, I don't know what has clicked in him, but he always got to set stuff on fire. How do we help those that need help? Because you can't even be taking certain individuals to these locations because they're violent. So how do we balance all of that? And that's what it's going to take all of us as a community to work with all of our gift mixes and skill sets, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a clinician, but I'm not afraid to go into locations to take care and help where I can our unhoused brothers and sisters. I'm going tomorrow to a place that's kind of sketchy. But my brothers and sisters, they need trash bags, they need tents, they need water. And then I'm going to ask them, what do you guys need? And then from there, establish relationship. And I think that's basically what it is. That's a culture that we have to change back to is, it's relational. We're all relational beings. So as we relation one with another, some of us are more difficult to deal with than others. And in that, we are our brothers and sisters keepers. So we got to go. That's just it. That's the mission that we learned in the military. We all have freedoms in this country. You represent our freedoms, as a senator. So in that, you have to be, sometimes I know people probably rub you the wrong way, but you still have to speak for the people. Right. So the people are good, bad, indifferent, ugly, purple, polka dot, my dad would say, just everybody needs the help.
Right.
All, what I'm saying? Like, don't be so big or don't be so small to where you can't reach people where they are. So with that, that's the stage that we're in. So I've had some people that's unhoused take advantage of me and hurt my feelings. But the point still remains, Senator Gonzalez, actual Chief Luna at the time, he's retired now. And then I'm meeting the new chief, the fire, school teachers, all kinds of people. It's the greater good. Yes. That's what we are in this country, the greater good. Past everybody's, little isms and schisms, there's still something a little higher than all of our thought processes. I look at things different than maybe you look at, but it's the greater good. And the greater good is to look after our brothers and sisters in this struggle. So, and that's what I learned in the military. That's what I learned from Poly High School. Our mission statement was enter to learn, go forth to serve. And the jackrabbits, we kind of cold. We go hard in the paint.
I know you are.
Yeah, we do some things that get it done, you know, and even people in organizations that don't get along, they understand it's still greater good. I've seen it
Yes.
all, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the pretty of it. But, you know, Robin Perry, an attorney, amazing attorney, said he went to Japan. He said, Duke, I didn't see any trash anywhere. He said that that's a cultural mindset where they put everything in their pocket. So little by little has that kind of premise of when we see things, you don't have to tell us, we're just going to go do it. And
Right.
then a business owner be like, you know what, I appreciate that. Then they say, what you need? And then
Yeah.
Senator Gonzalez be like, Duke, what you need?
Yes, I did.
Everybody
And
else.
I
So that's
and
what,
I and I was able to support you just a little bit. And I'm
as
hoping
you
that we
did.
can do that on a wider scale and a larger scale. And that's why I'm really glad that you're being folded into a lot of the city of Long Beach's plans for Clean California, which means continuing to have a homeless encampment strategy, which is mindful, which is of course keeping you safe, because I think someone said stay safe.
Yes.
And ensuring that we have resources at all levels to be able to tackle this. Again, you know, the housing, the mental health services, domestic violence services, female hygiene, you know, the short, the long term, as always. And just to kind of pivot off of that, I know we've got a few more minutes with you, and I really appreciate this time because you've given us so much to think about. And I think that all of us, again, I tell every one of my residents, every time I go to a town hall or have a community group, even my own backyard, I say, you know what, we have to think about our unhoused residents differently, and we have to do this together. It is not just the government coming in, it's not just nonprofits, residents. We all have to be a collaborative have a collaborative vision and do it together. So kind of pivoting, because this is Black History Month, and of course you are our honoree here to be able to talk about all the incredible work. But what do you see in terms of our Black unhoused residents? I mean, what is it that you are seeing out there? We know that in, you know, Skid Row, we have a large percentage who are Black unhoused residents, Latino. We've got lots of demographics, people that have families, maybe not. Everyone has a story to tell. And so what more can we do to ensure that we are getting more of our Black unhoused residents housed and supported? Is there anything else that we can do to support even more so for our Black brothers and sisters?
Yes. You got a pen right there at your desk?
I sure do.
Write this on a piece of paper. You ready? Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Without delay.
Yep.
That's it.
Right.
Whenever there's a need, without delay. I know that there's a process in things, but it's without delay. So, say for example, James, the gentleman on my website, he broke his back in 2012. He became unhoused. He needs a place to stay. We need to have situations and scenarios where Duke and his team can pull up and take him to a tiny house without delay. And you just multiply these situations in Inglewood, Watts, Compton, you know, all the 88 cities. You have, I'm not, you know, pumping myself in any capacity. Believe me, I'm not, but have a Duke in Inglewood. And you say, hey, this organization, go, because there's a sister in Los Angeles. She has short hair, and I see her helping the unhoused. Yes. Powerful sister. I can't think of her name right now, but I see what she's doing. She's inspiring on so many levels, you know. So
I think she's doing haircuts, makeup. Yes. She's doing, and she gives them choice. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So without delay. So even it's bigger than money. It's just as we link together, you meet the needs, and then certain times you got some of them. Like I have a young lady that we got her in. I'm gonna be transparent right now. We got her enrolled in school, and certain people say they want help, but then once you start giving them the help, how do you process them not taking the help? And that's something that I had to learn. So it's all experience based. So certain people say they want help, some people don't. They just want you to leave them alone. But we still have to put them in a space and a place where they can get the help in spite of them not wanting it.
Absolutely.
And it's not a dictatorship that we live in this country, but it has to be kind of like, you know how you can kind of coerce or guide, you know, water to go to a certain location. We got to kind of channel individuals to the help that they need.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important that this is you. You've been in the military, you've served our country, you're from Long Beach, you grew up in Central Long Beach, you have your own family, You care deeply about our community, and you've done everything to just, again, coalesce all of these city departments that I don't think has ever been done. And we'd love to be able to replicate you in places like my other part of the district, Southeast Los Angeles, and other parts of the not only just the region in Los Angeles, but the state. You've created this model that has really, it's like I say, it's, you know, a pilot program for what the state could really provide.
For our nation,
Absolutely.
the world, because, you know, we got unhoused individuals on planet Earth. Let's do it in Long Beach and show them how we do it, huh? The Jack.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know someone had been asking Ms. Rubio about transportation, and, you know, I know that the Blue Line is, you know, going through a lot of different changes right now, and we'll continue to keep everyone posted on that. But I do know that the Blue Line and Metro are going through some changes, and there are some dollars going to additional safety measures to ensure that the Blue Line and all spaces are a little bit more feel safe to passengers just going to and from work or what have you, but also ensuring that everyone has an opportunity to ride, but we're doing so in a way that feels, you know, good here in Long Beach and Los Angeles. So we'll get you more information on that. Sort of to trail off here, what is your last sort of message to residents, again, about the work that you do, about unhoused residents? I know we talked a little bit about that, but what's the message here that you want everyone to leave with in the work that you do?
I think I will leave individuals that are watching this or that may see this at a later time. Come out sometimes and see for yourself. Come experience some of these amazing human beings that, for whatever reason, you know, in their life, they've found themselves at this particular moment or season in life where they are, that's unhoused. And with those individuals that come out to get a chance to see with your gift mixes and with your strength and your creativity, help us all with the concepts and the ideas that we need to help our brothers and sisters. So the shortest poem, one of the most amazing poems I've ever heard, is Me, We.
We absolutely. That's phenomenal. Again, Duke, thank you so much for all of your effort. Again, your mission statements, you're living it as we speak: steadfast commitment, focusing on serving people where they are, long-term, short-term needs, facilitating these goals to ensure that we all thrive. I think you're speaking volumes to this. And one thing that we cannot leave with is without you telling everybody your website, where to find you, how they can support, donate, give, and how they can also volunteer and learn more from you.
Yes, so we are on IG and Facebook, Care Closet LBC. You can also contact us, careclosetlb.org. I'll say that again, careclosetlb.org. And we have a GoFundMe as well. So you can just look that up on the Google search. Just say Care Closet, you know, LBC, and just GoFundMe. And that just keeps us, you know, grabbing tents and sleeping bags and things of that nature. And, you know, we just, how amazing is it that we are getting some of our unhoused activated to, you know, find themselves a space and a place to create, you know, things that they can do to help our city little by little.
Absolutely. And again, there's $12 billion over the next 2 years to be able to tackle the issue of homelessness in the state of California. We're working on housing solutions and mental health resources and so much more. But if you have ideas, please let us know. You can visit us at senator.gonzalez@senate.ca.gov. But I really urge you all to support Care Closet as much as you can. Learn more, watch the videos, look at his Facebook. Again, he's also taken care of about 500,000 pounds of trash. Graffiti abatement. It's amazing. And you're doing this with your incredible board and team. I want to thank them as well. And we just have to continue supporting someone like you, Duke. For Black History Month, you are a stellar example. I want to thank you so much again. I look forward to seeing you back in Long Beach. Have fun, my friend. Thank you.
Take it
Bye.
easy. All right, everybody, be cool.
Bye, everyone.